Hey everybody, this is Renee with Two Chatty Chicks, and we are going to get this up here. All right, got it. We're going to be doing the molds today, and I know I'm not going to wait for people to hop on because you can always watch the replay and go back. But the piece that really brought this up, people asking me about, was whenever I posted this here, this piece. And this was done with chalk couture, and then I had embellished the frame. This was gold, and I used Miss Zillian's swamp mud on the gold, and then I used her black swamp mud, and then I came in with her shimmering top coat. I believe it was black pearl. I will look that up and I'll let you know for sure. But it just really set the frame off. And then I added these molds. And everyone wanted to know how I did the molds. So that's what we're going to be going over today. And I do them a lot of different ways. And there's going to be probably quite a bit of information here. But on the left-hand side of the page, you will be able to just click on videos, and you can scroll through and see the date and that we're talking about molds. That way you can always reference back to it. Or you can click on save video, and it'll save it in your feed. Not in your feed, but in your your settings, where it shows, you know, where you've been and what you've done and who you've responded to. But anyway, what I use is called Amazing, and you can get it at Hobby Lobby, 40% discount. It's $19.99 most of the time, and make sure that you get the kind that is white. That's really important. And this sets up in about 10 minutes. A lot of people use the clay, but I'm usually in a hurry, so I make up batches. And I mean batches. Like I have buckets like this that are full of molds, and I go ahead and I will embellish them sometimes, and then sometimes I will leave them white, and then I'll show y'all later in the video how I decorate them. And yes, they do get hard, like this one. That's really hard. They're very sturdy. So whenever I want to, say, put them on a round surface, I use, this is an embossing gun, and it heats it up really nice, and it doesn't take long either, to where you can, it's flexible, and you can bend that. Hey Nancy, how are you? I can't believe I can see people commenting on my phone. That normally never happens. But anyway, I use my embossing gun to heat the molds, to get them to bend on whatever I'm wanting them to go on to. And this went on the bottom of a jewelry box that had a gap, and someone decided that they wanted to pick it off. But anyway, and then this is one of the ones like what is on the frame down here that I showed y'all just a second ago. And what you have is you have two parts, and inside your box, these little cups is what's going to be in there. You can use them, but whenever I use them, they make me say things I really shouldn't be saying, because whenever you mix up your two parts and you start and you're ready to pour, whenever you go to pour, it will be pouring, and you'll be holding it over where the mold is, and it will be running down the back of the cup. I hate these. So what I do is, these are condiment cups, and they're hard, and they have a lip. You can kind of see that lip around there. Those are what you're going to want to use, especially if you're going to be making a lot of molds. You can get them on Amazon. If y'all like, I can put the link in. I never even thought about that, but I can do that for you so that you can find them. And let me move this. Oh, and I'll show y'all the back to kind of explain a little bit about this frame. What started this process is, again, I did this with chalk couture, and instead of using a chalkboard that you can erase on, I wanted to put it on fabric so that after Christmas you could take the backer board out. See, that'd be real easy to take out, and then you could do your next design, say for Valentine's, and then you've got Easter. And then this is easy to, and I sprayed it with fabric adhesive and just pressed it down, and it stayed. I mean, it's really nice and taut. You can pull it off, roll it up, store it, and there you go. But the main attraction is the molds. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I just want to move this aside so I don't mess it up. And I have to say, that one is really going to be hard to let go of because I really love it. It really turned out nice. But I think I have explained everything that I need to show y'all up here. Oh, and let me show you this, okay, before I turn the camera down. This is where I have already poured some of the Amazing in. And as you can see, this is not filled up all the way, but that's okay. You just leave it, don't take it out, and the next time you might mix some and you go to do another mold, just pour it in and you'll never notice. I mean, it'll be just like you had poured it all at once. And that is a cool thing. That way you're not wasting anything. So I'm going to turn this down to where y'all can see what I'm doing. And it will take me a minute for my iPad to catch up with me because there's a lag in it. All right, there we go. I think y'all can see that now. Okay. All right, what you need to do is you're going to use equal portions of these. One is white and one is yellow. And this is your hardener. And you'll always end up with more of the hardener left than you will of this one. I don't know why. I think maybe it's because it's thicker or thinner. I'm not sure. But I'm going to show y'all first just how to mix it and pour it. And then I'm going to show you some other ways that you can decorate them by making them a color. So you just want to take, and I'm not just absolutely precise, but it is equal portions of each one. And you want to pour it separate in each container. And I don't go over half because these are so small. And another clue, whenever you take this lid off of the hardener, make sure that you put it back on that one, because I have got them opposite and had to take pliers and get these off, and one bottle I couldn't get off. It was that hard. And then you have stir sticks that come in your box whenever you get them. And normally if I'm doing a lot of these, I wear gloves because there's something about this one that it'll turn your fingers kind of dark like that right there, and I just don't like the way that it makes my hands feel. So, and I'm going to pour that in, and I'm going to hold this up here where that y'all can see this, and you want to stir and see how cloudy it's getting. Okay, you're just going to keep stirring. And whenever you see that starting to clear up, like that right there, see how that's getting clear? Okay, it's ready to pour. And you want to make sure that these are on a level surface, because if not, they will pour out to the edge. And then you just want to pour it in your mold. And I go really slow And a lot of times I may not fill my mold completely up, because if I see that I can cheat a little, see there's a gap right there, I can push it in there, and I'm not using so much of the Amazing. And this pours out clear, and in just a little bit you will be able to see the heating process. It turns white, and in about 10 minutes, and two, believe it or not, of course, temperature, humidity has a lot to do with just about everything that we do concerning paint. Your dry time and all that will have something to do with it as well. And see, I have a little left over, so I will take and just see how far I can get it to go. And I've done a test one time as I was pouring the molds. I laid them all out, and I just kept mixing and pouring. And from one container, now it was like this size of molds. It wasn't the great big ones, the large ones, like the rows I showed y'all a second ago. But I got about 50 different molds out of just one box of this. So that's pretty good, I have to say. And after you pour out of this one, if you leave your stick in, whenever that hardens, you can take your stick and peel it out, and it's just like you've never used the cup. Now the one that had this in it, this one, it always stays gooey, so I'll just throw it away whenever I'm done. So, and this will set up, and as you'll be able to see here in a minute, it'll start turning white. And sometimes you may not get the two mixed well enough, and whenever not, this has been done whenever I did that frame. I didn't get it mixed good enough, but that's okay. I'm not going to throw it away, because whenever I glue it to something, it will hold and it'll be just fine. And this one is, I will show y'all how to do, this is what is on the frame as well. And what I did while that's setting up is I used Miss Lillian's Antiquing Glaze Water Base in the ebony. And you can use truffle, a dark color, whatever glaze you have on hand, you can use, I guarantee you. And this is just one process that I do, because I do a lot of different things with my molds, just depending on what the look I'm going for. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put gloves on, because I have worked hard for the last 3 days to get all the paint and goo off of my hands for going to church this morning. So I'm going to put gloves on so I don't have to start all over again. Okay, I'm just going to put that all over. And I don't want to get that all over my... a good amount. And I forgot my gauze. As you can see, I can slip behind my fake wall back there, because that's where I have all my supplies. And then I'm just going to use gauze. You could use a cotton rag, you know, whatever you have. Looky there. Is that to me is really pretty. And who would ever guess how simple that was to do? In fact, it makes, whenever it dries, it literally looks like stone. And say, okay, we're going to turn this over. And another little trick that you can do is you could take your gauze and you can kind of pounce it around, and it would leave like little crackle marks, make it look old. And the reason that I asked those that were really interested in learning about this, doing the molds, to come into the VIP group is because I had been asked by another lady to come into her group and do a live for her group, and I didn't want to jeopardize, you know, what she had promised her people by doing it on my business page. So I wouldn't want to do that to someone. I wouldn't want them to do that to me. So, but that is how I created the molds that went on the frame. That's just one option. Now, you can also, and I forgot to get me any water to put my brushes in, but that's okay. After they're poured, I lay them in little pans like this, or if I'm doing a whole bunch of them, I have a long board that I set outside, and I take them outside with a mask on. Always wear a mask whenever you're using spray paint, please. I used to do cabinets for a living, and I know what not wearing a mask will do to you. But I will use these if I'm just in the garage and just doing a few for a certain project. And this, I just use the spray paint. I always get the flat, or I will get the primer for the plastic. And I've never, ever had an issue with spray paint coming off of the molds by doing it that way. And this one I sprayed with just gold. So there are a lot of options that you can do to create, and see how this is turning white? You can tell that that's getting hot, and you can touch underneath here and you can kind of feel the heat. Also, any of the molds, before you use them, is food grade safe. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and brush that out. And it doesn't take very long to dry this if you want to use your heat gun or a blow dryer. The only place in here, but I like that left in there, so I wouldn't pull that out to get it to dry quicker. I really like that. Okay, I'm going to set those over there. And these are some that I've done earlier. And these are done with some powder pigments. And see how that pops out of there so easy? Isn't that cool? And I'll show y'all how to mix that up here in just a second. And I like how this looks. So you can either leave it like that, or you could come in with, I carry the redesign waxes, and I also carry Miss Lillian's gilding jewels, and I use them all the time. So you could use the gold on that. See, it gives a complete different dimension, but yet you can still see the brown specks from the powder pigment. And you could come in with, let's go bright. This one is royal, and this is gold, of course. I use gold a lot, but very seldom do I ever just use one color. I mean, it's just limitless what you could really create with these. And I love how they embellish. I use them on books. I use them on bottles. And I have these listed on my website. And if you go over, it's to twochattychicks.com. And if you go there and don't see something in stock, let me know. And just message me, and I will get whatever it is that you want. Let's see. I'm going to set this right over there, and that way I can mix some up. Yeah, that was the clear. And show y'all about using the powder pigments. Let's see, this one was by Redesign. It was rosewood. And I also carry the bright colors. as well. So you're just going to pour the clear, and that's the one that you're going to mix your pigment in first before you mix it into the yellow, which is the hardener. And you do want to try and keep it as even as you can, and you can pretty well see and tell. I mean, I don't weigh it or anything like that. And you don't want to leave this out in the cold or the heat. Isn't that a pretty blue? You want to mix it up pretty good to make sure all of that pigment is mixed up really well. Okay. We'll pour this flour. Okay, just mix the two together. Now, whenever you do mix the pigments in, you will see, you won't be able to see it turn white or clear. But it will kind of take a different look, and you'll pretty well know that it is okay to go ahead, because it doesn't take long. About 3 minutes to do that. And I have made a teetotal mess. I think that blue is very pretty. The only thing that I have really not been able to get to work with the Amazing is glitter. So, of course, I only tried it once. I was in a hurry, and I haven't done it again, so I really can't tell you for sure. And see, I'm not going to have enough to fill that one, but I could always mix up more. And even though it didn't go in here, that could be fine. Whenever I pour the other one, I could just not fill that in. Or I could cut it off. If it did fill it in, I could cut that part off right there and they would match. It's just, you know, I'm not ever going to waste one. I love my molds. So I want that to sit up there just like that, but I am going to move it. And that could be a trick sometimes because you want it to stay level. So I'm going to slide that off and I'm going to set it over here. And of course I ran some over the edge. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that before I get blue everywhere. Oh, and I was going to show y'all these. These are some that I did a long time ago. I kept them for samples. And this was done with spray paint as well. And it was just the hammered metal that you can get. And I really liked the look that it gave. And then I just took the gold gilding jewels, took my finger and wiped across it. And that was the effect that you got. I really think it's very pretty. And that one was the same way. And also, most of the time, whenever I am doing my molds, and I always like to use the flat spray paint. For some reason, I don't like the gloss. I don't know why. Just personal preference. See, those are, you can tell it's still, but it's the temperature out here. It's a little cool. So they're going to need a little bit more time to set up. These because they're smaller, but they're gonna need a little more time to set up. But y'all saw how easy these came out, and I had just poured those up just before we came on. And also, like this one, I was playing around the other day because I was looking for a different look, and this is Miss Lillian's Shimmer Luster. It is a top coat, actually, and it is very pretty. She has a lot of different colors, but I was looking for something a little different. I forgot now what I was working on, but I just took it, and I really didn't want a lot, and I just brushed it across the edge. And the reason I didn't use paint is because I still wanted that shimmer. But see, isn't that pretty? And the glue that I use, I knew there was one other thing I had forgotten. I've tried just about everything that there is out there, and I like this better than anything I have used. It's kind of the old-timey glue that has the brush, and you don't want to use very much, and whenever you do apply it, you don't want to put too much, because whenever you put it on, it'll squeeze out from underneath it, and you don't want that. So I just put just a little, and I always make sure I have gloves on, and if I have to, I'll just take my finger and push it around, and I'll just hold it. And I've actually used my embossing gun to give it just a shot of heat, and it really helps to set it into place. But I've used just about everything out there, and I really like that the best for me. Someone else may use something else that they like better, and if they do, please let me know. Because I am always open, and plus I would love it for y'all to share with each other. So, and this here was one, I didn't write it down, but I had sprayed it black, and then I dry brushed a light blue over it. I don't remember which one it was. And then I came back in with a whitewash. And then I took a little bit of sandpaper and just pulled some of it off, and that's how I got that look. So it's just whatever you want to play with, an idea that you're trying to come up with. And this is some that I have done strictly spray painted them black, and then came in with Miss Lillian's Gilding Jewels, and used, of course, several different colors. Aren't those just gorgeous? I have actually taken, I don't have it out here, but they have one. Oh, here it is. Is this one? Oh, I've used this one too. Where knobs go on the front of dressers. I go ahead and do them, and then I will embellish them with the gilding jewels to match whatever piece of furniture I'm working on, and then I drill a hole, and then I will put the knob through it, and it sets the piece off. So, but I guess that is it for today. Let me turn this back up, and now it's not wanting to cooperate. Okay. But if y'all have any questions, just let me know. I'll be glad to answer them. And I hope y'all enjoyed, and I appreciate y'all taking the time to spend Sunday afternoon with me. Y'all have a blessed rest of the weekend. Bye, y'all.